Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we are diving into a topic that is an absolute game changer for any platform engineering team out there: how to architect a standardized observability starter kit for every single new service you spin up on AWS. And look, this isn't just about saving a bit of time, it's about fundamentally shifting your team's culture from reactive firefighting to proactive, smart engineering. Let's jump right in.
So picture this. Your team just pushed a brand new service to production. Awesome. The code is live, it's taking traffic, but right away, the real questions start piling up. Can you actually see what it's doing? Do you have any idea if it's healthy? And what happens if something goes horribly wrong at 3 a.m.? How fast can you figure out what's going on? This right here is the classic day zero problem that we've all faced.
You know, the old way of doing things was usually a mad scramble. For every new service, you'd have to manually set up logging, cobble together some dashboards, and figure out what alerts to create. It was slow, it was wildly inconsistent from one team to the next, and it created a ton of that repetitive work we all hate. You know, toil. Well, the starter kit approach just flips that entire script. It's automated, so you get instant insight, and it's standardized, which means you finally get consistency. And that, my friends, is where our solution comes in, the Observability Starter Kit. I want you to think of it as a prepackaged blueprint that guarantees every new service is born with the ability to tell you exactly how it's doing right from the moment it comes online.
So what is this thing, really? At its heart, it's just an infrastructure as code template. It could be CloudFormation, Terraform, CDK, whatever you use. And this template automatically provisions and configures all the essential monitoring pieces for a new service the second it's created. The bottom line? You get observability baked in from the very beginning without anyone having to lift a finger. I love this quote because it really gets to the heart of the matter. This whole approach isn't about forcing rules on developers or creating more bureaucracy. It's about empowerment. As platform engineers, our job is to make the best practice, in this case having awesome observability, the path of least resistance. Because when doing the right thing is also the easiest thing, everybody wins.
Okay, so we've got the why down, we get it. But what's actually in one of these templates? What are the key ingredients that make it work? Let's pop the hood and take a look.
A really solid starter kit is built on these 5 pillars. You've got standardized logging, so all your logs look the same and are actually useful. You need base metrics to track the vital signs of your service. Then you have default tracing to see how requests flow through your system. And of course, pre-built dashboards to visualize everything and essential alerts to tell you when things are on fire.
All right, enough theory. Let's make this super concrete. We're going to walk through a really common example, a simple HTTP service running on AWS. How does the starter kit actually work for something like that? Now, for the developers using this, the beauty is how seamless it is. They just define their new service using their standard IAC template, just like they always would. The starter kit just plugs right into that existing workflow. No extra meetings, no new tools to learn, no friction.
And the output? This is where the magic happens. From that one simple deployment, the service automatically gets a properly configured log group, it gets critical alarms for things like 5x errors and high latency, and it gets AWS X-ray tracing switched on by default. And get this, my favorite part, it even spits out a URL to a pre-built dashboard that's already showing the service's key metrics. All of that with zero extra effort from the developer. That's huge.
Okay, so this all sounds cool, but what's the real impact? Why does this matter so much? It fundamentally changes how your teams work because it attacks 2 of the biggest sources of pain in engineering: toil and variance.
I mean, just look at this. The difference is night and day. This chart shows the engineering time spent just on the initial monitoring setup. The manual way is a massive recurring tax on every single service you launch. With a starter kit, that cost just plummets to basically zero. You're freeing up your brilliant engineers to do what they do best, build cool stuff that actually matters to the business.
So let's be crystal clear about what we're fixing here. Engineering toil is that soul-crushing, repetitive, manual work that adds no real value. And operational variance? That's when every team is off in their own world doing monitoring their own way, making it impossible to get a consistent view of anything. The starter kit just eliminates both. It automates away the toil and it enforces a standard, ending the variance.
Okay, let's bring it all home. If you're sitting there thinking, all right, I'm sold, I want to build one of these, here is your minimalist blueprint. This is the absolute bare minimum you need for your very first starter kit.
So if you're starting from scratch, just focus on these 5 things. First, pick a standardized logging format, like structured JSON. Why? Because it makes your logs searchable and actually useful. Second, capture those basic golden signals. We're talking latency,
traffic, and errors. Next up, create a default alarm for something truly critical, like a big spike in 5xx server errors. Fourth, build a standard dashboard that shows those golden signals. And finally, just enable tracing by default. Get these 5 things right, and you've built a powerful foundation.
So, I'm going to leave you with a question to chew on. Seriously, think about your own team's day-to-day work. What is that one annoying, repetitive, chaotic thing that you all have to do over and over again? Because that right there is the perfect place to start building your first starter kit. Thanks so much for tuning in.